All right, everybody. So I'm here with, what's your name, sir?
Lottie.
Lottie. So Lottie, tell the audience here, where are you from?
Born and raised in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria to be specific, and I lived there for 14 years of my life before I came to Texas and before I moved to California.
So what is life like in Lagos, Nigeria versus the U.S.? That's a big difference, huh?
Yes, huge difference. The immediate one that comes to mind was I stepped into a Walmart in Texas and I'd never been in a building that large,
Really?
just on its face. Like markets are usually like open fair and like smaller in
Okay.
third world countries, especially like Nigeria.
Oh, kind of like Spanish markets where they're very
Right.
small?
Or on the streets,
Okay.
very, very much still localized. Like a giant store where you could find everything from food to guns. That was absolutely new for me.
Really?
Yeah. And outside of that, living wise, so I have to say and address this, like my family was like fairly middle to upper class.
Okay.
So I didn't live in like abject poverty. Parents prioritized like a good education, so they paid like decent money to get me into like decent schools. I had tutors. I went to college, or what they would consider secondary school there, which is like not college, but like a notch below.
Okay.
But by the time I moved to America, I was already doing college level math in Texas in high school. So
Got it. So what's a big cultural difference from Lagos, Nigeria to here to the US? So what's something that's like a big, so for example, I had met a lady from Korea, and she told me in Korea you don't do small talk with strangers. You know, here in America you might meet someone, hey, how's it
I
going?
do like small talk.
She said over there you don't do it.
Yeah.
So what's something you'd have in Lagos, Nigeria, where
A
here?
big immediate culture shock for me was the inherent respect for your elders is not here
Really?
as much as it is in Nigeria and probably the rest of the world in general.
What do you mean by that?
Like if you are seen as, if you're just an older person, a younger person like almost automatically has to respect you. Like you can't just talk back.
Really?
Like in a sense, which is like, of course there's like trauma related to that, and of course like the conservative old ways are not necessarily in line with like a progressive way of communicating with your kids in a more like friendly or warm manner.
Okay.
But in Nigeria, like your adult when you're a kid is like deserves your utmost respect. It's not earned, it's just given.
Wow.
So that's like the biggest, I think, culture shock is it for me. And maybe from my own little bubble, because of the kind of parents that I had, the prioritization of your education for yourself.
Really?
Like understanding that being educated is not for like society to see you as this being, but that like the best form of you is an educated you.
Okay.
Is like something I feel like America takes for granted still on some level culturally.
Huh, interesting. What about like food differences? What are some of the
Oh, like of course, absolutely. On the food difference, everything in Nigeria is probably more like naturally grown. Like you see the chickens, they're not necessarily raised in some like large farm that's just like bloated.
Is
with
it like
all
an
sorts of
open
drugs.
market with live animals where
Oh
you
yeah,
can buy them
You
and
can-
they
you
kill
can-
them on the spot?
You literally like can get to a malam and like he brings the goat
Oh, really?
that he's going to kill.
Oh, wow.
And he kills the goat. Like you can of course do your business if you're at a party and do whatever,
Sure.
but he brought the goat. And
Oh.
he's gonna kill the goat, and he's gonna skin the goat, and he's gonna fry the goat on an open grill. And it's gonna taste absolutely delicious.
Really?
It's a little crazy, but like yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of foreign here in America because you don't have live markets where you see the
Right.
animals still
People
alive.
don't see that. There's a disconnect. Which
Well, yeah, you're like, oh, my meat is dead, but I mean, it had to come from somewhere, right?
people don't understand, like, and that I feel gives you a sense of respect for your food. It's still, of course, like if you're a vegan or vegetarian, it's like killing an animal is, of course, like questionable for you as far as the morality goes.
Sure.
But the disconnect that America has with its food, because they never really see where it comes from and what it takes to mass produce that, is huge. Nigeria, it's not mass produced. It's like from markets, from individuals. Like these are people that grow the livestock, and you get to go see them at like the butcher shop or the street, wherever. So in that sense, your respect for your food and knowing where it comes from is tighter.
That makes sense, right? Because if I have to eat something that I just saw was killed, I would be like, damn, I feel a little bad.
It's almost like you don't want to waste it.
No, because you're like, this thing just sacrificed its life so I could have my meal for the day.
Right.
Like, I feel a little like, well, like we just had some pizza earlier, and I don't know if you noticed before.
Yeah,
we
you
were
asked
there.
for the vegan option.
Yeah, well, not that. There was a group of guys eating earlier before you came that I saw,
Oh.
and they left, I don't know how many slices uneaten just there.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure it was a chicken pizza. And I remember thinking, okay, like if they had known like this chicken just died and they just wasted
Right.
30%, you probably wouldn't have did that because you're like, hey, there was a sacrifice made to like get you this meal, but here in America we don't have that.
Absolutely huge. Like my mom never let me waste my food. Like she would hold me down and spoon feed me the last cold chunks of it before I would ever waste it. Or she'd be like, it's in the fridge waiting for you when you're ready to finish it. 'Cause
That
we
makes
don't waste
sense.
food.
So okay, so you're in Lagos, Nigeria. So what language do you? I obviously speak other languages. What do you speak?
Well, family's Yoruba. So Yoruba
Okay.
is one of the like three major tribes: Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa.
Okay.
And Yoruba is like probably one of the largest ones. Has like ties to some of the older ancient kingdoms that were in that region.
Okay.
But my mom speaks Yoruba fluently. My dad is semi-fluent. But they didn't kind of raise me speaking that language directly. And Nigeria is an English colony. Like it was
Makes
an English
sense.
colony until 1960 when it gained its freedom. So I grew up speaking English. Everyone around me basically mostly spoke English. But you can still go to places where no one speaks English. It's all like Pidgin English or Yoruba or a different language.
Okay. So, but you were brought up with English.
I was brought up with English.
That makes sense. And your parents speak English.
Yes, and my dad and mom being like super proponents of education,
Right,
we're gonna
English.
make sure that our English was like not just English, like tight English. I had English tutors
Right.
all through like several of my elementary and middle school years.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So, are cars a common thing in your country?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Generally, if you know how like it is in Cuba,
Okay.
how like all those older cars are still basically worked on and given
Sure.
you life by mechanics, but they pump out like black smoke carbon.
Right.
A lot of Nigeria is like that. You can find like newer model vehicles. A lot of the shipment will come from more so Europe or South Africa.
Okay.
Because shipping from America is a bit of a larger distance. But you'll find a lot of older model cars. Have you ever heard of a Peugeot?
No, I've never heard of it. What is that?
P-E-U-G-O-T. It's like a French model car. It's
Peugeot.
got like a lion as its like emblem.
Go ahead. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
A Peugeot, you
Yeah,
said?
Peugeot. P-E-U-G-O-T.
I'm sorry. Spell it again. You said
P-E-U-G-O-T.
P-E-U-G-O-T.
Peugeot. They probably still have them in France and in certain places in Europe, but in Nigeria, you saw a lot of those. You saw a lot of Nissans, Toyotas, of course. But like,
I've never seen this car before.
oh yeah, it's like in the same realm as like an older Nissan or maybe an older.
They're not
Toyota.
popular here in America.
I haven't seen a Peugeot in America till this day. Like I don't think they ship to America.
It's
or
French, right?
Yeah, if I recall, it's French.
Yeah, it's
and
a French
pronounced
house. Yeah, I've never
Peugeot.
seen it here in America.
Mhm.
That's why when you said that, I was like, oh.
Like there were the Peugeot 304, Peugeot 506. They always had like 3-digit numbers names to them.
Interesting. No, I've never actually seen it. Peugeot. Okay. So
Yeah.
so in Africa, basically, the older cars are worked on. So here, like in America, when something's like more than 3-4 years old, people just quick
Of
to
course.
like buy a new one.
Basically,
But in Africa, no. It's
They
like you
fix
use it
that
till
shit.
you fix it till it's like
you go in deep into the market and find that like super resourceful guy that never went to mechanic school,
Right.
but has figured all this out by hand.
yeah.
And like you can always find someone to fix anything. In Nigeria, like case in point, there's a place called Computer Land, and it's just like a large square block of different vendors, marketers, sellers of different products, and you can basically get any phone.
Computer
there.
Land?
Computer Land. You can get any phone or any electronic device there and get it fixed.
Really?
Like fixed.
Really?
You know the like old Nokia
Sure.
when Microsoft was trying to do its phone thing?
Yeah, of course.
You could take that to Nigeria till this day and probably get it fixed. It might be
Wow.
more expensive because the parts will be like rarer,
Right.
And but you walk in there and there'll always just be someone looking out for what you need. And if this store doesn't have it, there's a guy who's already making a call to another guy somewhere in Computer Land that knows how to get it fixed.
Wow.
So like that resourcefulness to fix everything and use it till its dying breath is like almost a hallmark.
Yeah, because I feel like here in the U.S., once something is 3-4 years old, like, oh, it's just get a new one. It's not
Basically.
worth it.
The
But
software
like,
is already outdated, phased out. It starts to do all weird glitches. But people in Nigeria have phones that have been like their phones for 10 years.
really over
yeah.
here, like after 2-3 years,
Because if
you're-
you like your phone, you like your phone. You don't necessarily want to change it.
no, you know that's true. I've had some old phones. Like if I would have kept them, but like when they upgraded to 5G, it was on the 3G network.
We're basically
it doesn't work.
forced. We're
No.
always forced to get the new one.
Yeah, I feel like it's not needed, but it, like you said, but it forces you to always buy.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah. because-
Hallmark of American culture.
yeah, like you always have to buy stuff. Like you can never just buy something and go 10 years.
The economy runs on you buying the next new thing.
You know, that's so true because like even with cars, like after 10 years, cars are just like they're not good. But 10 years, you would think like Back in the 50s, that car would have lasted 3 generations.
Like my dad's car is still my car type shit.
Yeah, now it's
Like,
like after.
now it's like no.
Yeah, it's so interesting, huh? Because we're a first world
You
country.
get a
in
little
America.
transmission issue and the car is like done. Nigerians are like, oh no, bring that back.
It's
We'll gut this other car
Uh-huh.
and take parts from it for whatever is needed to fix this and keep it running. As long as you can pay somebody to do it.
So is polygamy allowed in Nigeria?
In like certain points, like
Okay.
so big divide
Okay.
of Nigeria is more so there's like weird again, there's a north, there's a south, and there's like an east. There isn't really considered a West Nigeria.
Okay.
The north is mostly like